And that's something I think that we were excited about. We smelled it. We were chasing it. And we knew there were going to be that point and other points in the movie where you could hear the orchestra and you could slow down just a little bit and let people understand this is not a TV show. We are not going to be able to do this in 22 minutes. No one would want it.
This is getting awkward.
Son of a butt!
That feels nice.
I know.
Hi everyone. How are you?
Hey.
Good.
Loren, how do you feel about this movie? When you created this series, do you imagine someday we will be talking about a movie?
No, I wouldn't have dared. I imagine everything that's happened, but I wouldn't have gone as far as letting it sit very long in my imagination or feel like it might happen. It's thrilling. This is so satisfying, and it's a little surreal to create something that can live outside, that can touch as many people as Bob's has, but you don't want to look too closely at it. You can't. You shouldn't. It's very nice to be in a limousine and to be whisked through the streets of Los Angeles, but that will fuck you up. And you gotta really, in the end, try to just keep coming back to the work that you would do even if no one was watching it, and even if you didn't get to make a movie. And that's, I think, a better way to approach it. We're very grateful to be able to do this, and I think if we had imagined it, it would have messed us up right when we needed to stay focused.
I don't think you mess up this. When you work in a Bob Burgers movie, you're working from one of the most popular series. How do you work to keep the essence from the series? Because you have a lot of fans and they expect some things about this movie.
It was hard. We knew, if we made the movie that we love our fans, we want to make them happy because, we desperately want to we really love our fans. And we were but if we made the movie that would make every fan happy, it would be 4 hours long and, the plot would go everywhere. Because there's just so many things that we'd want to include about the show that we have so much fun writing for, but it wouldn't make, it wouldn't make a story, we wanted the plot to be focused and we just wanted it to focus on the story, and it was about the story, and then just hope that our fans would forgive us if we left out a few people who were in there at one point but just couldn't make it the whole way, and to just love the movie for what it is.
How do you do to make the story? Because in some case, a movie from an animated series can feel like a long episode. How do you work to translate this language to a movie language?
Bernard should answer this, because partly what you need is you need a director who can really understand shot by shot by shot what makes a great movie.
Yeah, I think, from the visual side of things, it's, what we try to do on the show, we have a style which we've sort of established, which is sort of a very flat one-point dimension, and we find that works funny. But every episode, or at least a lot of episodes, we have an opportunity to go cinematic, and we always love doing that. We love that opportunity. And so it's a real treat when you get a sequence where you're like, oh wow, we can go all out and go whatever angle and really, really enjoy it. And so for the movie, it was a little bit the other way around. We wanted to go cinematic a lot, but we still wanted to bring it back. We didn't want to make it not feel like the show. And so that was a big part of it. And then speaking for these guys who obviously wrote it, that just finding a structure that felt like a movie, and I think you can easily fall into the mold of the show and make it feel like a stretched out episode. But what these guys did, I think, was amazing, where they were able to have each of these characters. They set up a murder at the start of the movie. It's a mystery. We hopefully have a lot of jokes and action, but they also importantly had the 5 family members and Teddy, and they all have to have an arc. They all have to have a story to tell, and kind of tied up by the end. And I always marveled at, when these drafts were coming in, how you can keep that story going and not make it feel like the story stops at any time to service any one character, that you can kind of weave it all through and just keep the story moving. And I think they did a great job of that.
And what are the advantage for working in a long story? Because in a movie you have more time than in any episode.
Well, I love this question just because I was just thinking while you were talking, Bernard, we had this montage in the movie. I think this speaks to your question. There's a montage in the movie after the hole first opens up, and we always, Bernard and I in particular, really, really liked this montage. He wanted to do this time lapse, and I did too. And I always pictured this piece of music, and we fooled around with the music, and we fooled around with the time lapse till the very end. We kept holding that space though, and it was not easy. There was a sense when people watched the movie, they'd say, well, you could cut the montage. And it was like, no, it's gonna make it feel like a movie, and it's gonna be important. But we hadn't gotten it there yet. So we had to just put a little fence around it and say, don't cut it. It's gonna be the moment for some people at which this feels different than the show because we stopped there and let it breathe a little bit. And because we telescope time and suddenly you see the sun moving across the sky, and you hear this piece of music that's not trying to be silly or funny at all. And that's something I think that we were excited about. We smelled it, we were chasing it, and we knew there were gonna be that point and other points in the movie where you could hear the orchestra and you could slow down just a little bit and let people understand this is not a TV show. We are not going to be able to do this in 22 minutes. No one would want it. And it wouldn't be, and, or maybe we'll pull it off someday. Let me amend that. I would love to be able to be a master of pacing, that we could do it within any period of time, but there is no better place than in a 90-minute movie that's meant for theaters. So we were excited for the challenge for that.
This is the second movie, if I'm not wrong, based on a Fox animated series. The first one was The Simpsons. What are your expectations with this movie?
We're so scared. we really, it will do how it'll do, but we really want, I know I've said this before, but we really want our fans to feel like we're, sending them a little love letter. And we really want to bring in new people because, we think that we've made a movie that can bring in fresh eyes. And also I think we do want, I would love if somebody came up to me and was like, I got a little emotional during your movie. Because I think we always try to tie emotion to jokes in a nice balance. And if someone comes up, or a few people, that would make me happy, because I love the movies that get me a little emotional as well, just because of the connection. So all of those things.
Along those lines, I hope, I'd love for it to be a big success, of course. And if that doesn't have it, I do hope that people will find it eventually. But one thing I always think about, I hope it's a movie that people will watch more than once. I'd love for it to be the type of thing that in years to come, if it comes on, someone will happily watch it again, on a Sunday afternoon in 2025 or something. Bob's Burgers movie comes on, someone will watch it. I hope it has that kind of longevity.
Thank you so much for this interview. I wish you the best for this movie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is getting awkward.
Son of a butt!
That feels nice.
I know.